Namaste, dear seekers of truth, and welcome to The Inner Secrets. This is a space where we journey far beyond the surface level of daily life, reaching into the vibrant tapestry of cosmic wisdom and the profound insights that reside deep within our own hearts and minds. Today's topic goes beyond mere astrology. We are setting out on a path that leads directly toward liberation, focusing our lens on the upcoming year of 2025 and especially on all of you who resonate with Taurus energy. Many of you reading this may have been drawn here by the potential for material prosperity, by new romantic opportunities, or by grand achievements that have been eluding you. The forecast for 2025 indeed hints at these marvels: financial openings, fulfilling relationships, career strides. But is that the real secret to lasting happiness? Or is there a deeper, richer source of joy we can tap into? Let's begin by acknowledging that the astrological outlook for Taurus in 2025 appears remarkably promising. There are powerful alignments and supportive influences suggesting that financial possibilities could expand, romantic bonds could deepen, and professional doors may open in ways you've been longing for. Yet underlying these cosmic currents is a more profound, transformational journey. We need to ask ourselves, how do we make the most of these experiences with a sense of awareness, with compassion, and with the recognition that everything in life is impermanent? An essential lesson emphasized in Buddhist wisdom? Indeed, how do we accept the natural flow of existence while remaining centered in the present moment? In this lengthy exploration, we will absolutely delve into those astrological details: Mercury's gift of clarity, Venus's invitation to deeper love, Saturn's teachings on discipline and karma. But more importantly, we will contemplate their spiritual significance. What are the karmic implications of these alignments? What sort of inner work is being asked of us if we truly wish to harness these energies for genuine growth, not just for external success? Receiving gifts from the universe is not enough. We need to transform ourselves, to use these blessings to awaken more fully. If you are ready to move beyond the surface, to penetrate into the depths of your highest potential for awakening, you are in the right place. Don't skip a single line or moment here, because woven throughout this journey are keys that can unlock a more fulfilling, freer existence. If you're new, please remember to subscribe for more deep dives into astrology and spirituality. And if what you find here resonates, do like and share to support this community. Let us begin. The end of struggles, a Buddhist perspective. Some of you may have seen references to an end of struggles for Taurus in 2025. That phrase might make you envision a complete cessation of challenges, a year when everything just falls perfectly into place without any hitches. From a Buddhist viewpoint, however, we know that dukkha, suffering or dissatisfaction, is woven into the very tapestry of human existence. It arises from our attachments, from our cravings, and from our tendency to cling to what is, by nature, ever-changing. When we hold on tightly to concepts of permanence, whether it's a fixed sense of self, an unchanging situation, or a guaranteed outcome, we end up creating suffering for ourselves once these things inevitably transform or fade. The end of struggles might not literally mean that you won't encounter any problems. Instead, it suggests that the quality of your struggles may shift, that the intensity of certain burdens may lighten, and that you might step into a time when you have more resources, both external and internal, to address life's challenges. The astrological influences of 2025 can be viewed as an energetic opening. Doors that were shut may now crack open, financial constraints may loosen, and relationship deadlocks may resolve. However, from a Buddhist lens, Our liberation doesn't arise merely from favorable circumstances. It emerges from changing our relationship to all circumstances, whether pleasant or painful. In Buddhist tradition, we have the Four Noble Truths. The first states the existence of suffering. The second explains that suffering arises from craving and attachment. The third noble truth speaks to the possibility of freedom from suffering. And the fourth outlines the eightfold path that leads there. So while 2025 may feel like a respite or relief, it's essential to remain aware that what truly liberates us is how we respond to both ease and difficulty. If we cling to the notion that all challenges are behind us forever, we may set ourselves up for disappointment once new challenges inevitably surface. But if we lean into this new phase with mindfulness, equanimity, and compassion, then every experience, good or bad, can become a stepping stone on the path to awakening. Consider, for instance, that your prior financial challenges might have had a deeper purpose. Maybe they tested your ingenuity, forced you to cultivate resilience, or confronted you with the nature of your attachments. Relationship strife might have taught you about empathy, forgiveness, and the subtle art of balancing self-care with care for others. These struggles could have been catalysts for growth. Now, as you step into what appears to be a more supportive cosmic climate, you carry forward the wisdom gleaned from those trials. Like seeds planted in a harsh winter, you can now blossom more fully in the more abundant spring of 2025. Remember, it's not about declaring that struggle is over once and for all. It's about adopting a fresh perspective where every moment, whether calm or fraught, becomes an occasion for deeper understanding, compassion, and spiritual development. This is what Buddhists mean by seeing challenges through the lens of equanimity, not pushing away difficulties, not clinging to ease, but staying present and balanced no matter which way the wind blows. January 2025, a month of renewal and ethical foundations. January is described in many astrological forecasts as a time of renewal. The interplay of Mercury, Venus, and Saturn creates an especially dynamic environment, making it a moment ripe for undertaking new projects, forging meaningful connections, and setting the tone for the year. From a Buddhist perspective, renewal goes beyond the idea of simply turning the page on an old calendar. It is an opportunity to refine our karma, to reorient our intentions, and to walk the path more mindfully. Recall the eightfold path: right understanding, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. January's cosmic energies can serve as a springboard for practicing these principles in tangible, everyday ways. For instance, if Mercury is granting you mental clarity and eloquence, it's an ideal time to emphasize right speech. Communicate with honesty, but also with kindness, empathy, and a sense of timing that respects the feelings of others. Rather than using heightened communication skills to push personal agendas, let them be tools for creating harmony, conveying understanding, and alleviating conflicts. Similarly, as your ambitions surge this month, remember right action. There's a world of difference between chasing after goals solely for personal gain and dedicating your endeavors to benefit others as well. Are you seeking professional accolades just to aggrandize your ego, or are you motivated by a sincere wish to serve and uplift those around you? Reflect carefully on your motivations. The energy of renewal invites you to realign your goals with compassion, altruism, and moral principles that foster well-being for all. Venus, meanwhile, will be whispering its blessings of love and connection, so do not confine that energy to romance alone. Practice what Buddhists call metta, loving kindness for yourself, for friends and family, for strangers, and even for people you might classify as enemies. Metta is expansive by nature. It thrives when it is not hemmed in by conditions. One of the most beautiful aspects of Buddhist practice is that you can extend unconditional love, not in a naive or self-sacrificial sense, but from a place of understanding that all beings want happiness and seek to avoid suffering. Even financial opportunities gleaned from January's favorable winds should be approached with an eye toward right livelihood. Does your work sustain and enhance life, or does it harm others or exploit the environment? These are tough questions, but they are essential if you want to generate genuine and lasting wealth. In Buddhism, wealth obtained through dishonest means or harmful ventures creates negative karma, which eventually ripens into more suffering. True prosperity is built on ethical foundations. A concise illustration of transforming through adversity is the story of Angulimala, a bandit who committed grave acts of violence until he met the Buddha. By receiving the Buddha's compassion and wisdom, Angulimala underwent a profound change. This shows that renewal is not a superficial act. It calls for a deep willingness to confront your past, learn from it, and actively cultivate a more enlightened path forward. The same possibility for renewal exists in January 2025 for each of us. You have the chance to look upon your life experiences, see what has helped you grow, and make a genuine commitment to living more consciously. Mercury's journey, practicing right speech and deep listening. In January, Mercury's journey through various signs, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, is said to bestow clarity of mind and ease in communication. This shift can help you express yourself more confidently and effectively. But from a Buddhist perspective, communication is far more than just stringing together words to get a point across. In the Noble Eightfold Path, we have right speech. It's not just about telling the truth, it's also about choosing words that are kind, helpful, and timely. When Mercury is in Sagittarius, you may notice a rush of inspiration and perhaps an inclination to speak more freely, even impulsively. This is where mindfulness steps in. You can harness that energy to share innovative insights or spark important conversations, but be mindful to avoid letting enthusiasm turn into harshness or disregard for how your words might affect others. As Mercury moves into Capricorn, communication tends to become more practical and methodical. This is fantastic for setting grounded goals and planning. Yet watch out for becoming so task-focused that you forget the human dimension, empathy, warmth, and real dialogue. Finally, in Aquarius, Mercury brings heightened creativity and an openness to unconventional ideas. Here you can really innovate, but do so with compassion. Let your new insights and fresh perspectives serve the greater good, not just personal novelty. The art of right speech also includes the art of deep listening. Often in conversation, we listen only superficially, waiting to talk rather than truly hearing the other person's heart. But when we listen in a mindful, non-judgmental way, we create space for authentic connection. We validate the other person's reality, and in doing so, grow our own capacity for empathy and compassion. There's a well-known anecdote in Zen culture. Two monks were living in the same monastery. One was extremely eloquent and could recite a vast array of teachings with ease, while the other was more silent, seemingly less knowledgeable. Visitors would often flock to hear the eloquent monk, only to find themselves more moved by the silent one's compassion and presence. Sometimes words are overshadowed by the sheer radiance of genuine understanding and kindness. This teaches us that while Mercury's gift of eloquence is wonderful, the genuine power of communication also rests in the silent resonance of a loving heart. So let January's Mercury energy be an invitation. Speak honestly and clearly, but do so with gentleness. Listen to others with an open heart. This is how you start laying the groundwork for meaningful communication that not only moves your life forward, but also helps heal and uplift the people around you. Venus's influence. In 2025, cultivating unconditional love. One of the transcripts you may have seen highlights Venus's role in 2025, kindling passion and emotional fulfillment. In modern astrology, Venus is often primarily associated with romance, beauty, pleasure. But in the Buddhist teachings, love goes much deeper than romantic desire. It is about cultivating a boundless loving kindness, metta, that extends to all living beings. When love is grounded in craving and attachment, it can easily give way to jealousy, possessiveness, and heartbreak. A more awakened form of love is characterized by freedom and generosity. It seeks not to own another person, but to recognize their innate dignity and worth. In 2025, as Venus softens your heart center, it's an opportune time to examine how your love manifests. Is it conditional and narrow, or is it wide-reaching and full of compassion? Naturally, the forecast may indeed bring opportunities for new romantic encounters or a deepening of existing relationships. While this can be a joyous development, approach it mindfully. It's not about the thrill of novelty alone, but about building relationships anchored in respect, mutual growth, and understanding of each other's deeper nature. Think of a relationship as a garden. It flourishes best when nurtured with patience, kindness, and consistent care. If the gardener is only after the flowers without tending to the roots, the blossoms soon wither. Moreover, don't overlook self-love. Buddhist practice teaches that compassion must also be extended to oneself. You're not separate from the vast net of interdependence. True self-love isn't ego-based or indulgent. It is about honoring your own needs, forgiving your mistakes, and recognizing that you, too, are worthy of peace and happiness. When you learn to treat yourself gently, you inevitably become more capable of treating others gently as well. A classic story that exemplifies the pitfalls of clinging love is that of Kisa Gotami, who lost her young son and was so devastated that she desperately sought a cure for death itself. The Buddha asked her to find a mustard seed from a household untouched by death. Of course, she found that every household had experienced loss, leading her to realize the universality of impermanence. Let this be a reminder that all attachments, to loved ones, to life itself, must eventually bow to the law of change. While this might sound somber, in truth, it liberates us to love more freely and more compassionately, without trying to freeze any moment in time. In 2025, let Venus guide you to a love that is expansive, liberating, and rooted in wisdom. Extend kindness to yourself, your partner, or potential partners, friends, family, and even to strangers. The more you practice unconditional love, the more it becomes a steady undercurrent in your daily existence. Saturn's lessons. The alchemy of past challenges. Saturn's role in 2025, according to many astrological insights, involves turning past challenges into valuable lessons. This resonates beautifully with the Buddhist concept of karma. Every action has a consequence, and every experience can become a teacher. While some see Saturn as a harsh disciplinarian, it might be more constructive to view it as the wise mentor who insists you do your homework thoroughly so that you genuinely learn. Over the last few years, Taurians and many others may have found themselves tested in various arenas: finances, relationships, health, and personal identity. Instead of framing this as punishment or misfortune, consider it the fruition of certain karmic seeds. Now in 2025, Saturn is providing you with the stability and clarity to distill the lessons from these experiences. Perhaps you've learned resilience, discovered which relationships truly nourish you, or uncovered creative problem-solving abilities you never knew you had. Saturn encourages you to develop a long-term perspective. Where do you want to be, not just next month, but in the next 3, 5, or 10 years? This is similar to the Buddhist practice of right effort, intentionally cultivating skillful habits and letting go of unskillful ones. Saturn's energy, if you tune into it mindfully, can serve as a cornerstone for building better daily routines, establishing financial discipline, or even setting aside time for regular meditation practice. The aim is to consciously shape your own karma moving forward, rather than letting old patterns unconsciously shape you. Saturn also tends to highlight the cracks in your relationships, not to cause heartache, but to bring them to your attention so you can address them. You might need to engage in some difficult conversations or face your own shortcomings. However, these tests can deepen your bond with others if approached with honesty and love, or help you see that certain connections have run their course. A story that resonates with Saturn's spirit is again the parable of the mustard seed. The Buddha used this teaching on multiple occasions to illustrate impermanence and suffering. Just like the woman who came to see that she wasn't alone in her pain, Saturn can help you see the broader patterns behind your life experiences. The ultimate goal is not to dwell on the pain, but to learn, to evolve, and to approach the future with greater clarity and heartfulness. Financial breakthroughs, true abundance through generosity. Forecasts for Taurus in 2025 point strongly toward financial upturns. Long-awaited rewards may finally come your way. Yet from the lens of Buddhist teachings, material abundance is never the entire story. True abundance is a state of mind characterized by contentment, gratitude, and a willingness to share. We can think of wealth as a tool. In the hands of a self-centered mind, it can breed greed, but in the hands of a compassionate heart, it becomes a force for enormous good. Yes, the cosmos may very well align to provide you new opportunities, a raise, a lucrative investment, or a successful new venture. Celebrate these gifts, but also remind yourself to check in with the principle of right livelihood. Are you earning or investing in ways that uplift society, or are you inadvertently causing harm? When your financial pursuits are honest, fair, and mindful, the prosperity that results will have a more stable foundation. Buddhism also emphasizes the importance of generosity. If you do experience a financial windfall, consider how you might use some of that abundance to benefit others. Could you donate to a charitable organization? Support a local business that does good work in the community? Even small acts of generosity, like buying a meal for someone in need or offering your time, can help transform financial gain into something spiritually meaningful. This might sound paradoxical, but giving some of your wealth away can actually help it grow in intangible but profoundly rewarding ways. A historical example of turning wealth into virtue is King Ashoka. Once known for his military conquests, he underwent a deep spiritual transformation after witnessing the horrors of war. He then used his considerable resources to build hospitals, roads, and educational institutions, promoting the welfare of both humans and animals. His story demonstrates how real prosperity involves a shift in how you see and use resources. In that spirit, think of your finances in 2025 not merely as personal gain, but as an avenue to uplift your life and the lives of others. The sun's energy, courage, determination, and the Bodhisattva spirit, January 2025, is said to be infused with a powerful solar energy that fuels ambition and determination. Astrology often portrays the sun as the giver of life, force, confidence, and a sense of identity. In Buddhism, we might parallel this with the Bodhisattva spirit, the courageous intention to awaken for the benefit of all beings. Ambition itself is not the villain here. What matters is the motivation behind that ambition. Are you striving for personal accolades alone, or do you see your success as a means to serve the wider community? The Bodhisattva vow is about generating strong resolve to not only free yourself from suffering, but to guide others to freedom as well. The solar power in January can amplify your capacity for leadership and initiative. So take that flame and let it illuminate not just your own path, but others as well. Capricorn season underscores responsibility, discipline, and a methodical approach, traits that harmonize well with a Buddhist-style diligence. If you set your sights on a new project or a new habit, this is an optimal time to lay sturdy foundations. Some might worry about burnout when the sun blazes too brightly. The Buddhist remedy is balance, practicing self-care, maintaining a mindful routine, and nourishing your emotional well-being so that your inner light remains steady, not scorching. The Buddha's own story is the epitome of perseverance. He left behind a life of princely comfort and spent years in ascetic practices, eventually discovering the middle way, neither self-indulgent nor self-punishing. His unwavering determination culminated in enlightenment, not just for personal relief, but to show a path to others. Embrace that same spirit in January, but remember to harmonize your zeal with wisdom. The sun's energy wants you to stand tall in your purpose. The Buddhist path reminds you to remain compassionate and aware in every step. The moon's influence, emotional awareness, and the power of presence. In January 2025, the moon plays a crucial role, bringing emotional clarity and ushering in new beginnings. In many spiritual traditions, the moon symbolizes the reflective mind, our constantly changing emotional landscape that waxes and wanes like the lunar cycle. For Buddhists, it's a reminder of impermanence and the value of mindfulness in dealing with our feelings. The full moon in Cancer on January 13th can be an emotionally charged day or period, ideal for releasing old baggage. Maybe it's unresolved resentments, fears, or regrets that weigh you down. The full moon invites you to confront them with courage and tenderness. In Buddhist terms, you can use this period to practice letting go, recognizing that these emotional storms do not define who you are. The new moon in Aquarius on January 29th is perfect for setting fresh intentions. While many folks approach the new moon with a list of goals, the Buddha's perspective suggests also including introspective aspirations. May I cultivate compassion. May I be mindful in my speech. May I remain open to change. These are not external checkboxes, but internal commitments that shape the essence of your being. Throughout these moon phases, mindfulness is key. Emotions, like the tides, rise and fall. What leads to suffering is not the emotion itself, but our habit of clinging to pleasant feelings or pushing away unpleasant ones. If you can remain present, acknowledging each wave of emotion without letting it overwhelm you, you discover a more profound peace. Recall the Buddha's parable of the poison arrow. If we are too busy analyzing why we were shot and by whom, we delay the actual healing. Sometimes, we need to focus less on the story of our emotion and more on gently releasing its grip. Strengthening your support network. The significance of Sangha. The transcript also highlights the importance of fortifying your support networks in 2025, reminding us that friends, mentors, and allies can help us on our journey. In Buddhism, the community of practitioners is called the Sangha, and it is considered one of the three jewels alongside the Buddha and the Dharma. Having a network of like-hearted individuals offers you a space to learn, reflect, and evolve. Venus's energy throughout 2025 may inspire you to communicate more openly and honestly, fostering deeper connections. Utilize that energy to revisit existing friendships. Be brave enough to have those heart-to-heart conversations you've been postponing. In some cases, you may recognize that certain relationships have grown toxic or stagnant. Let them go with compassion, understanding that not all connections are meant to last forever. Simultaneously, be open to new connections. You may meet mentors who can guide you in your career or your spiritual practice, colleagues who inspire you to push your limits in constructive ways, or community groups whose values mirror your own. Remember, a Sangha isn't about perfection or dogma. It's about supporting one another on the path. We learn not just through solitary introspection, but also through shared experiences, discussions, and mutual encouragement. A lovely story that captures the power of community is the tale of an elephant that falls into a deep well. Despite its immense strength, the elephant can't climb out alone. It is only when enough villagers come together with ropes, pulleys, and a collective intention to help that the elephant is lifted to safety. Likewise, your growth in 2025 can be exponentially boosted when you allow yourself to both give and receive help. 2025 as a turning point. Manifesting dreams with mindful intention. We arrive at the grand theme. 2025 as a turning point, a year when you can actively manifest your long-held dreams. From a Buddhist standpoint, manifestation does not contradict spiritual principles if done mindfully. Indeed, every thought and action plants a seed in the fertile ground of karma. Over time, these seeds blossom into our lived reality. Mercury's clarity can help refine your intentions. Venus's loving energy can infuse those intentions with compassion. Saturn's discipline ensures you're taking practical steps, and the sun's vibrancy energizes your every move. Combine all of that with the moon's reminders to remain emotionally aware and flexible, and you have a recipe for manifesting not just success in worldly matters, but also growth in wisdom and compassion. Manifestation, however, requires consistent action. It's not enough to dream. You need to bring your whole being into alignment. This includes reflection on whether your dreams truly align with your deeper values. Where do you see yourself applying your talents? How do you plan to contribute to the welfare of others? Are your goals driven by a craving for external validation or by a heartfelt intention to serve? By asking such questions, you ensure that your manifestation process becomes a spiritual practice, not just a wish list. Patience, a key strength of Taurus, should also be nurtured. Spiritual transformations and large-scale life changes rarely happen overnight. Each small step you take in January, each phone call, each mindful conversation, each moment of meditation builds momentum towards something greater. Like a sculptor chipping away at a block of marble, the shape of your future emerges gradually through steady effort. Bringing it all together. The first step of a transformative year. As January 2025 progresses, you'll sense the energy shifting and sparking new possibilities. Whether your goals revolve around financial stability, romantic fulfillment, or personal contentment, the alignment of cosmic influences is nudging you forward. You're no longer merely wishing for improvements, you're in an environment where the seeds you plant are more likely to sprout, provided you water them with awareness, compassion, and effort. This turning point is not about a flashy moment of external success alone. It is about a deep-rooted inner transformation that changes how you perceive yourself, your relationships, and the path ahead. You may find that old fears lose their grip, new inspirations emerge, and synchronicities abound. For a Taurus, this can feel especially empowering because you naturally flourish when grounded in tangible results and steady progress. The difference now is that you're not just building something externally, you are also evolving inwardly. Keep in mind, success is not the final destination. It is a continuous journey. Every goal you reach opens up a new horizon. Each lesson you master paves the way for deeper understanding. That's why it is so vital to practice self-compassion along the way. If you stumble or face a setback, remember the Buddha's perspective. There is no absolute failure, only opportunities to learn. If you cultivate patience, remain open to change, and consistently align your actions with your highest values, you will find that your path unfolds with an elegant sense of purpose. Conclusion: 2025, a year of abundance, love, and inner freedom. Taurus, 2025 holds the promise of transformation and renewal across many dimensions of your life. The cosmic currents are in your favor, and you may feel barriers dissolving, replaced by clear pathways to love, financial stability, career growth, and emotional well-being. Yet the real magic is not in the stars alone. It's in how you engage with these opportunities. Will you step onto the stage of 2025 with mindfulness, compassion, and a willingness to serve? Will you see each bit of good fortune not just as a personal gain, but as a resource to better the world around you? As you move through this year, remember, struggles may lessen, but real liberation comes from changing your relationship to challenges. January is a launchpad for practicing the principles of the Eightfold Path: right speech, right action, and right livelihood. Mercury's journey supports deeper communication, calling for mindful speech and deep listening. Venus encourages you to cultivate unconditional love, both for yourself and for others. Saturn helps you transmute past karma into wisdom, urging discipline and integrity. Financial breakthroughs can be aligned with generosity and ethical actions. The sun ignites your inner bodhisattva, fueling determination that benefits all. The moon's cycles teach emotional awareness, helping you let go of old wounds and welcome new beginnings. Strong community, sangha, and support networks elevate your personal and spiritual evolution. 2025 is a turning point, an invitation to manifest dreams with mindful intention. By integrating these insights into your daily life, you transform astrology from a mere fortune-telling tool into a profound spiritual resource. Every transit becomes an opportunity to practice mindfulness, every planetary alignment an invitation to deepen compassion. When seen through the prism of Buddhist wisdom, 2025 is not just a year of favorable cosmic weather for Taurians, it's a year to consciously shape your karma, to move closer to genuine fulfillment, and to serve as a beacon of light for those around you. A final word to our Taurus friends. As you feel the energetic momentum of January 2025 setting the stage for a new cycle of growth, recognize that your patience, resilience, and pragmatic nature are immense assets. You've waited for obstacles to clear, you've learned from your setbacks, you've dreamed of a brighter future. Now, as the universe extends its supportive hand, meet it halfway with your own determined and compassionate heart. We'd love to hear from you. What are your aspirations for 2025? Do the astrological insights offered here spark any new reflections? Share your thoughts in the comments below to join our interactive community discussion. If you haven't already, do subscribe and like this content if it resonates with you. Feel free to explore the recommended videos or playlists on the screen for more perspectives on how 2025 can unfold for you, both astrologically and spiritually. Thank you for accompanying us on this deep dive into Taurus's journey for 2025. May the year bring you not just material gains, but the inner peace and clarity that stem from a heart aligned with compassion and a mind anchored in wisdom. Remember, the true revolution happens within. Let's embrace 2025 with open arms and awakened hearts.